Have you ever stared at two open doors, heart racing, and felt that whatever you choose will ruin your life? The job offer that sounds impressive, but dead inside. The move to a new city that excites you and terrifies you. The relationship you care about, but you're not sure if it's love or fear of being alone. You make lists. You compare salary, status, safety, and still, your stomach knots up, your mind spins, and your finger hovers over the send button like it weighs 100 pounds. If that's you, take a breath. Tonight we're going to do something different. We're going to borrow a simple, steady light from Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who faced the darkest places a human can face and still found a way to choose. Because Frankl saw something most of us miss. Indecision isn't just about not knowing enough. Often, it's a warning light that your choices are floating without an anchor, without meaning. So if you can't decide, maybe the problem isn't the options. Maybe it's the question itself. You've been asking, which choice is safer, or which one makes me look successful? And Frankl would gently, firmly ask, which choice lets you give more? Which path allows you to become more human? Let's slow down. Picture a quiet room, the kind where you hear the clock ticking too loud. You try to think, you try to rationalize, you scroll one more article, call one more friend, ask one more poll, and the noise gets louder, not softer. The cruel thing about decision paralysis is that it pretends to be logic. But underneath all the analysis is fear of regret, fear of being trapped, fear of wasting your life. Frankl had a name for the emptiness we feel when life is full of options, but empty of direction. The existential vacuum. It's what you feel when you ask, what do I want? And the answer is a shrug. It's not depression. It's not laziness. It's a hunger for meaning. And when you try to fill that hunger with metrics, money, titles, applause, you stay hungry. Here's Frankl's shift. He believed that meaning is not primarily something you receive. It's something you answer. Life asks you a question, right now, through the people around you, the work in front of you, the suffering you can't escape, and you answer with how you live. That means the right question isn't which door makes me feel good. It's what is life asking from me here? So how do you use that when you're staring at two doors? Frankl described 3 reliable paths to meaning. The first is through creating what you bring into the world. The work you do, the problem you solve, the craft you practice. The second is through experiencing what you receive. Love, beauty, the sunrise with someone's hand in yours, the way music catches your breath. And the third, the most radical, is through your attitude towards suffering, how you meet pain when you can't change it. When a decision freezes you, hold those 3 up like a prism. Ask, which option lets me create more? Which one lets me love and be loved more deeply? And if pain is unavoidable either way, which path invites me to face it with dignity? These aren't moralistic questions. They're practical, clarifying, and strangely peaceful. Let's make it concrete. You're torn between 2 jobs. One pays more but feels hollow. The other pays less but lets you pour your talents into something that matters to you. Your old question was, which looks smarter on a resume? Frankl's question is, where am I more able to give what only I can give? Not because sacrifice is always better, but because contribution is the most reliable antidote to emptiness. When you give yourself to a cause, to a craft, to a person you love, the fog lifts, not all at once, but enough to move. Or you're wavering about staying in a relationship. The fear is real. What if I leave and regret it? What if I stay and suffocate? Frankl would not push you to endure harm. He'd invite you to ask, Is there love here that asks me to become larger than myself? Is there a possibility for growth, for honesty, for giving and receiving in a way that makes us both more human? If the answer is yes, then perhaps the hard work is meaning. If the answer is no, then perhaps the courage to leave is meaning. Another example, a move to a new city. You're not sure if it's escape or calling. Don't ask which city is better. Ask, where do the needs I can actually meet intersect with the people I can actually serve and the self I'm becoming? Suddenly, you aren't chasing certainty. You're aligning with a direction. Of course, there's a voice in you that protests, but what if I choose wrong? Frankl would say, what ruins us isn't choosing wrong, it's choosing by the wrong standard. When you choose by comfort alone, you will often betray yourself. When you choose by meaning, you can be mistaken and still be at peace, because you're answering life honestly. We still need a tool, something you can hold. Here it is, a simple 3-question compass you can use before you choose. 1. What can I give here concretely in the next 90 days? 2. Who or what would I be responsible to if I chose this names and faces, not abstractions? 3. When pain shows up, how would I meet it along this path? Do I have a stance I can respect? Write the answers, don't think them. Writing slows fear down. If one path gives you real names, real giving, and a stance you can respect, that's your signal. If both do, you pick. If neither does, wait. Not forever, but long enough to find a third door that lets you answer more clearly. Now, let's talk about fear. Fear is not the enemy of meaning. Sometimes it's the sign that something matters. But there's one kind of fear that means danger. The fear that makes you smaller, meaner, dishonest. If a choice requires you to shrink your soul, that's not meaning. If a choice requires you to stretch with integrity, that fear might be a compass pointing forward. And regret. Regret is the ghost we think we can outsmart. Frankl's view is bracing. The point is not to prevent all future pain. The point is to become the kind of person who can hold pain without losing yourself. Meaning doesn't eliminate suffering. It gives you a why that dignifies it. If you choose a path that lets you answer life by creating, loving, standing with courage, then even if it hurts, even if it fails, you have not wasted your life. You have lived it. Here's a practice you can start tonight if you're stuck. It's a short experiment Frankl would have appreciated. For one day, live as if the decision were already made in favor of option A. Wear it. Walk in it. Do the actions that choice requires. The next day, live inside option B. Not the fantasy do, the small real tasks each option demands. At the end of each day, ask 3 questions. Did I give anything that mattered? Did I experience any real connection or beauty? Did I face any discomfort with dignity? Which day made you more honest? Choose that. But what if both days feel empty? That's information. It means the decision isn't ready because the options aren't rooted in your values yet. You might be choosing between 2 versions of safety. In that case, take a week to strengthen your values, not your options. Serve someone. Make something you can point to. Sit with a friend and speak the truest sentence you can about your life right now. Meaning grows where truth and responsibility meet. Water that, and the options will change shape. Maybe you've noticed something else that keeps you stuck. The fear of closing doors. You want to keep every exit open. But that isn't freedom, it's drift. Frankl's life showed the opposite. When freedom is only freedom from, it becomes hollow. Real freedom is freedom to commit, to say yes, to aim your life at something worth your one life. You can't discover who you are while holding every door open. Identity is forged by the doors you close, and the one door you walk through with your whole weight. There's another trap, waiting for certainty. You imagine a version of yourself who just knows. They don't exist. Even the people who look certain are negotiating risk. Frankl never promised certainty. He promised meaning. If you answer life with courage, that's better. Certainty can be faked. Meaning can't. A word about the third path to meaning: attitude in suffering. Sometimes the decision isn't between two good options. Sometimes it's between two losses. You can't rescue the relationship, and you can't undo the betrayal. You can't keep the job, and you can't stay healthy. When that's the reality, the choice becomes, what kind of person will I be in this hardship? You still have a say. You choose honesty over bitterness. You choose support over isolation. You choose to speak blessing instead of spreading poison. That choice is not small. It changes the atmosphere of your life. It creates meaning right in the place that tried to erase it. Let's get practical again. If you feel your heart thudding when you open your email or you rehearse imaginary conversations in the shower, try this tiny move. Limit your decision horizon. Decide only what lines up with the next faithful 12 weeks. Not 5 years from now, not forever. Commit deeply for 90 days. Create something. Love someone. Hold a stance when pain knocks. After 90 days, reassess. This keeps you from worshipping the idol of perfect foresight. There's a quiet courage in this approach. It lets you move while uncertain. It lets you make a promise without swearing you'll never change. And momentum itself teaches you things thinking never will. Doors open when you walk. They do not open when you stare. We also need to talk about the pressure to pick the impressive thing. Frankl warned about chasing success as a substitute for meaning. Success may come as a byproduct of service, but when it becomes the point, it collapses under its own weight. Ask, very simply, if no one ever applauded, would this still be worth my life? If the answer is no, keep looking. Not because applause is evil, but because it is not a compass. The compass is always the same. What is life asking of me here, and how can I answer with the best in me? Midway check-in. I want to hear from you. What's the one decision that's been sitting in your chest lately, stealing your sleep? Share it in the comments. Sometimes naming it out loud breaks the spell. And if this is giving you a steadier way forward, tap like and subscribe so this kind of calm, meaning-first guidance finds you when you need it most. Let me give you a small script you can steal for moments of panic. When your mind starts to spiral, what if, what if, what if? Pause and say out loud, this is a moment I can meet with responsibility. What can I give? Who needs me? How will I stand? Then pick one action that takes 5 minutes or less. Email the person. Sketch the outline. Wash the dishes for the partner you love. Call your mother. Purpose is not a feeling you wait for. It's a tiny act aligned with your values, repeated until the path appears under your feet. And yes, avoid the trap of outsourcing your meaning to others. Your friends won't live with your choice. Your colleagues won't hold the bill. Ask for counsel, then decide. The dignity of choosing is part of what forms you. Frankl sat with people in impossible situations and still honored their agency. He trusted that inside you is a capacity to choose well when you choose in the direction of giving, love, and courage. If you're still stuck, try this reflection tonight. Sit in a quiet room, phone in another space. Place a blank page in front of you and write a letter from your future self 10 years from now. Not about money, not about titles, about the kind of person you became, the people you lifted, the pain you carried with grace. Then ask, which current choice belongs in that story? Often, the path that scares you a little and asks you to grow will fit better than the path that flatters you and asks you to shrink. I want to speak to the fear of wasting time. You think if you choose wrong, you'll lose years. But drifting costs more time than choosing. A year of partial effort across 3 options rarely equals a year of wholehearted effort in one direction. Pick a direction that lets you answer life, and even your detours will teach you more than stillness ever could. Frankl's insight is not that suffering is good, it's that meaning can turn even suffering into a teacher, not just a wound. There's one more gift from Frankl, self-transcendence. The self you're trying to protect by avoiding decisions is not the self you're meant to keep. You're meant to spend it, to be used up in love, in work that matters, in standing tall when fate presses you to the floor, meaning pulls you beyond yourself. And strangely, when you step beyond yourself, that's when your life begins to feel like yours. So the next time you stand before 2 doors and your chest tightens, don't ask for a sign from the sky. Ask a better question on the ground. What can I give? Who will I be responsible to? How will I stand? Then choose, not because you are certain, but because you are willing to answer. Put your weight on the door. If it's the wrong one, you'll learn fast. If it's the right one, you'll feel it in the way your days begin to stitch together into something coherent and alive. You are not behind. You are not broken because you don't know. You are a human being in a world that worships freedom from and forgets freedom for. Restore that balance in your own life. Choose with meaning. Commit for a season. Give yourself away where you can actually touch the world. And when pain arrives, as it always does, meet it with a posture you can respect. In the end, the path isn't found by thinking harder. It's found by answering. Life is asking you a question, not someday now. How will you answer?